So this week in Corvette news, we finally have official pictures and video from the source, GM themselves, and not just some spy shots anymore, of the new 2026 C8 Corvette interior. And current C8 Z06 orders that were initially unconstrained and at the 3000 status ready for production are now being set back. And those future owners now face some hard decisions. And then if you didn't see last week's video, the next giveaway of the channel is live. And it includes multiple pieces to win and extra ways to gain more entries for even better chances of winning something. So we're going to talk all about that in today's video. So thanks for tuning in, guys, where we talk Corvette news, do product review videos, how to install videos, and the occasional car drive and car show all around Corvettes. My name is Carlos, and if you like what you hear and you want to know when all these kind of videos drop, I invite you to subscribe to the channel, join in on the community, and yeah, join in on the fun. Alright, starting off with our first bit of news, we finally have all the details clear on the upcoming updated interior for the 2026 C8 Corvette. It's not spy shots or diagrams anymore, this is official footage from GM directly, and not only do we have confirmation on things like new screens and a grab handle, but extra details as well that were a little, nicer prices kind of deal. So let's break down what we see here. So first thing we're going to go over is what we already knew, and that's the screens in the 2026 Corvette. And they're confirmed updated with 3 screens going forward with the 2026 model. So going from right to left, we have the nav screen that is indeed bigger, taking the whole border of the screen size, which is easily an extra 1.5 to 2 inches in bigger size compared to the previous version. So it's looking pretty darn nice. The main center screen is looking similar to the previous version, but the housing around the center screen is slightly different to accommodate the new screen setup, which includes a more flat top section instead of the concave design that you would see on the previous version. And then we finally have a great look at that third smaller screen to the left of the center screen. And like we had talked about before and predicted, it is set up to provide useful car data that you can customize with things like tire pressure data or G meter forces, for example. And on top of that, it's also worth mentioning the actual interface of the screens are updated for a much more intuitive and I feel cleaner look on each of the screens. It honestly looks really nice and updated to keep giving the C8 Corvette a very high-tech and edgy look. Okay, let's move on to the center console, which has a ton of updates, both from some things that we already knew and a couple of new things that are kind of pretty cool to mention. So the first big thing, we get a good glimpse of that new grab handle and wall of buttons, which are gone now, and those buttons have been relocated under the nav screen. On top of that, there's a nice little new addition of an illuminated USB-C port for the passenger side. Something that for real is a nice little added detail in a great spot so that your passenger can just plug in their USB cable to charge their phone or tablet, especially which is useful for those kind of like long drives in the car. On top of that, we now have the first real glimpse of the open-ended cup holders. They are illuminated and have a nice interior design that, just really looks neat, especially when you're not using them. So we also get a good first glimpse of the updated phone charger spot, which takes up the location where the old mode selector knob used to be. On top of that, we also see what the updated driver selector and new toggle switch that's going to replace that mode selector knob. So it's all still functional and updated, just making it more useful in my opinion. We also get some new color setups that include what's being called a very dark atmosphere and a Santorini blue. There's also some new suede options as well as an asymmetric red interior setup that actually is pretty cool. You have a red seat and a different color seat essentially, which is for that person that is very driver specific and like that asymmetric look. I think it actually can work pretty well if you have the nice set and if you have a really good setup in regards to color and such that will match it. And then on top of that, literally there is a new top roof option for the coupe that allows for adjustable tint. Apparently this new roof is going to be electronically button activated, where you can change it from 3 different tint levels, essentially from like heavy tint, medium tint, and light tint. Kind of deal. So I think that's actually a nice little detail that is gonna look pretty cool. I'm really interested to see how that looks in person. Other than that, I couldn't come across a lot more detail on that specifically, but essentially that is coming along as well. So there's a lot more options and interiors that can really make your 2026 Corvette, your own kind of deal. And I'm just honestly glad that GM has finally decided to show us what this new interior for the 2026 C8 Corvette is going to be. I know it's a hit or a miss on people whether they like it or not. I feel it's one of those things where at the beginning, most people are just going to be a little bit off put by it, you know, mostly because it is just something new and people sometimes have a little harder time with change, especially when it comes to designs and of interiors and even exteriors for that matter. But I can appreciate this new interior setup is more functional, especially with that third screen. For me, being a practical engineer kind of guy, I like function over style kind of deal, especially if it means updates that are going to give me more function. And so I think after a little bit of time, a lot of people are going to really enjoy this interior, especially when they get to see it in person. I think that's going to be the biggest difference. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Okay, so the next bit of news is not so great, at least for potential new Z06 C8 owners waiting for their Corvette to be built exactly how they want it with no constraints. But unfortunately, the latest Z06 orders that were at 3,000 status, that is, orders accepted by GM and scheduled for production, they were supposed to be free of any kind of constraints specifically on the carbon fiber pieces, but it looks like they are being pulled back to 2,000 status. And it's basically because GM is now running into additional supply chain issues yet again for popular visible carbon fiber options, specifically that Z07 butterfly wing and the dive planes. It's unfortunate that this situation is still going on, especially after GM had kind of stated that they were pretty confident that these supply chain issues have been resolved, especially for the carbon fiber parts. And now currently those new owners, some of which have been waiting for their exact Z06 for years at this point, now have a pretty cruddy choice to make. Essentially, the visible carbon aero, specifically the high wing and dive planes, are not going to be available, but the carbon flash painted versions are. So these new owners can either choose to get the carbon flash version of those pieces and now have a mix of carbon flash and visible carbon fiber on their Z06, or get rid of the whole carbon fiber package entirely, or wait even longer to have their order carried out. Any of which, those choices are pretty bad if you think about it. I mean, the first option, mixing carbon fiber with carbon flash pieces all over, especially from the factory, just kind of looks bad. And then the second option of just losing the whole upgraded visible carbon fiber package defeats the whole point of waiting this long to get that, especially if you were waiting for that option to become available. And then the third option of waiting even longer for, you know, all this carbon fiber bits to be available is especially annoying and frustrating, considering how long some of these people have waited for those things for their Z06. So, and then thinking about it even more, if you're one of those potential owners and you do decide that you're going to wait a little bit longer, you run into issues on color choice, especially if you were set on getting a Rapid Blue or Sea Wolf Gray. Those colors are going away for the 2026 model. And essentially, if you were dead set on having like one of those colors with a Z07 package, like the carbon fiber package, you're now stuck with making a very hard choice, which is kind of cruddy. It's one thing if the wait was extended for these carbon fiber options. It's another for GM to say it's all been figured out and then they go back on what they say on it. It's kind of disappointing. Ultimately, hopefully these issues get resolved quick and those new owners are okay with the choices they have to make. I don't know if I would personally, especially for a $100,000 sports car, over $100,000 sports car. So thankfully I am happy with my Z06 and how I'm slowly adding on different carbon fiber aftermarket pieces. But in any case, talking about aftermarket pieces, we do need to actually mention the giveaway, which is live on the channel. I mentioned it a little bit in last week's news video that the giveaway is officially live and there are multiple pieces that you can win, as well as a few extra ways of being able to get more entries so you have better chances to win. So, and these are parts that are from our sponsors on the channel: Solar Performance, Diamond Protect coatings, and Speedway Composites. They have all been awesome and they have given us the opportunity to have a few awesome products to give away. So from Solar Performance, we are giving away a Z06 throttle body, the 87mm throttle body system, which is a $700 system, mind you. And we did a full review on it. It is absolutely awesome. And even their throttle controller is pretty awesome. We also did a video and that was last giveaway that we did. And also, if you're not wanting to wait for this giveaway, giveaway to see if you win one and you just want to outright buy one, you can always use my discount code NuHorizon. Save yourself a little bit of money should you choose to buy it on Solar Performance's website. And then the next piece of giveaway, it comes from Diamond Protect. It's going to be one of their Diamond Protect coatings of your choice that you could use for your car. So whether it is for the OEM body paint or to protect your wheels, they have different kits that service all these different surfaces in mind that give you better than your traditional ceramic coating because it uses a completely different formula that is diamond based. It is not a gimmick. It actually comes from the machining industry in regards to diamond drill bit coatings. They've adopted that same technology to the automotive use, so it is tried and true. I've used it on my car for both the wrap, the wheels, and also the OEM paint on the roof. It's about a $75 to $100 kit that you can win. And again, if you don't want to wait for the giveaway, you can always go to Diamond Protect's website and use the code NuHorizon. Save yourself a little bit of money should you choose to get that as well. And then the third set of items comes from our new sponsor, Speedway Composites, which they're such a new sponsor. I have not even done the reviews, but they do a few cool things for the C8 Corvette, including a carbon fiber X brace that you can put on your engine bay for the C8 Coupe specifically. Really, really nice, adds a good amount of rigidity, so gives you a little bit more of a stiffer back end near the engine bay area. And then they have another cool thing, which is a wind deflector for the C8 Coupe versions, which I've tried before and definitely helps when you have the top down to just add that extra little bit of a flare to just basically smooth out the air from all rushing into the cabin when you're like on the highway kind of deal. It's very, very useful. I've enjoyed it very much. And it's very easy to just put on and take off whenever you need to kind of deal. So, and again, if you don't want to wait for the giveaway, you can always go check out speedwaycomposites.com and use the discount code NuHorizon10. In that case, save yourself a little bit of money on your order. Now, if you do want to enter the giveaway, it's really, really easy. You can do it while you're listening to me talk right now. All you got to do is just type in NuHorizon in the comments and you'll be entered. It is one entry per user, and I'll be collecting all the different entries throughout the next few weeks, all the way to when the giveaway ends on July 4th. Now, if you're wanting additional entries, I do have it set up that if you do buy any kind of NuHorizon merch, every $5 will go towards additional entries for the giveaway. Now, that being said, if you do choose to purchase any of my merch, whether it's like a shirt like this or like one of my hats or anything like that, I don't have things automated this time around. So if you do make a purchase, please make sure to email me directly at NuHorizonC8 at gmail.com. So with your order number so that I can basically have it logged correctly. So, and yeah, I do have a few other extra pieces of giveaway that I'm going to announce a little bit later on. So there's going to be even more pieces that you can win on this giveaway. There's going to be multiple ways that you can win, multiple items to win. And I'm just excited that I'm able to share this with you guys, give back to you guys in all appreciation for all the support you've given me. And yeah, in the meantime, check out any of my other videos, and yeah, we'll see you next time. Take care, guys.